why I trade gold after the golden age. Is gold really done after its so-called golden age, or is the market just pausing before its next phase? Because I don't think the story is completely over, and I know you don't either. Recent macro data and shifting Federal Reserve expectations are still supportive for gold. Inflation is easing, the labor market is softening, and the pressure for prolonged high rates is fading. As markets price in a less restrictive Fed, gold naturally benefits. But the real signal isn't just policy expectations, it's what's happening in the market itself. Gold has already surged roughly 300 points, hitting a 10-week high, yet it still trades more than $1,000 below its January record. That gap matters. It shows strength, but also room for repricing if the macro backdrop continues to shift. And this move isn't happening in isolation. Geopolitical tension, trade uncertainty, rising fiscal concerns, and long-term questions about the US dollar are all reinforcing demand for hard assets. In environments like this, gold tends to reprice higher as a store of stability. But the most important driver right now is structural. Central banks are accumulating gold. Let me put down some statistics. In Q2 2026, they purchased nearly 289 tons, a record for a second quarter, according to the World Gold Council. Their latest survey also shows 89% expect gold reserves to rise over the next 12 months across the globe, with a record 45% planning to increase their own holdings. This isn't retail speculation, it's institutional positioning at the sovereign level. Central banks are actively diversifying away from traditional reserve assets and hedging against currency and geopolitical risk. That creates a persistent demand floor that didn't exist in previous cycles. So I don't look at gold and think it's already run too far. I look at it and ask, what happens if this demand doesn't go away? Because if inflation stabilizes, the Fed turns less restrictive, global uncertainty stays elevated, and central banks keep buying. Then the fundamental case for gold staying elevated doesn't weaken, it compounds. That doesn't mean I chase every move. Gold will pull back. Volatility is a part of the structure, not an exception to it. But that is exactly why I trade. I'm not here to predict the top or bottom. I wait for the setup, manage risk, and let macro forces do the heavy lifting. Because the golden age of gold may not be behind us. It could be entering its most important chapter yet. This has been Futures Code. Thank you for watching.